Hey everybody, this is Michael. We're going to be looking at internet culture today. More specifically, we're going to focus down on speedrunning. Let's get right into it. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is speedrunning? And I'll break it to you. Speedrunning isn't mysterious by any means. It's a style of playing a video game, or video games in general. Now, the major goal is to play a game, or a portion of a game, as quickly as possible. Afterwards, you record it, the entire playthrough that you had, or that portion, and you put it up onto a leaderboard, so that way other people can see it, and they can try to compete against it as well to see if they can best your record. Now let's focus on another specific thing about speedrunning. What type of run are you going to do? So, there's numerous runs. We'll go through the list. At the top we have 100% runs. This is to collect everything that counts for an in-game metric of some kind. Any percent is similar, but it doesn't matter. You only need to collect what you need to beat the game. Low percent is almost the exact opposite of 100, in which you collect as little as possible. Glitchless is pretty straightforward. Glitchless means that you can't use any techniques or glitches. To skip portions of the game, you have to beat it as you normally would. And TASBot, or the tool-assisted runs, these are runs in which that you have a emulation, like a bit of like a hack, or a program that's running that allows you to hit frame perfect match, like scripting. So that way, like, you can get those almost inhuman timings, as some games require certain specific timings. Now, let's talk a little bit about history of speedrunning. I've kind of ran over a few of the basics, but I believe that now is the perfect time for some history. Speedrunning hasn't been something that's new, per se. It's always been around because completing games as fast as possible, especially more arcade games, you got a higher score if you completed it quicker. Now, there are certain surges in which that speedrunning gained in popularity. Super Mario 64 on the Nintendo 64 is a huge game. Still to this day gets speedran. Super Metroid for the Super Nintendo is another huge game that gets speedrun. There was another huge boom, would have been obviously the Doom, and more specifically Quake games, as they had certain techniques. And let's get into talking about those techniques. In Quake, you had bunny hopping, which was the ability to air strafe and abuse a bit of the physics engine and movement so that you could efficiently clear levels at insane, ludicrous speeds. It also had another technique, rocket jumping. Rocket jumping was kind of a weird, once again, abuse of physics with a rocket launcher, as it seemed to have a knockback, or a blast radius that would send you flying. And if you sacrificed a bit of health, well hey, you made a really nice jump and probably actually got through and skipped a portion of the level. It actually became so popular that it became a main staple of a game called Team Fortress, and more specifically, Team Fortress 2, with the soldier having a rocket launcher and rocket jumping. Now, it was definitely nice to get some history and some background on a few of those techniques, as well as hearing some of those main staple games that are still speedrun to this day. But you might be asking yourself, do people still speedrun? And if so, for what reasons? Well, the short answer is yes, people still speedrun. It's a very competitive field, so there's always going to be people trying to beat that top record that are like, I can do it. And to them, I applaud them. Some of those records are insane. But yes, people still speedrun to this day. I would say a majority of it through marathons or through speedrun races with multiple people running the exact same game at the exact same time. It's done for charity. If you've ever been interested in watching speedruns, Games Done Quick, or GDQ, is a huge resource, as it stockpiles and shows the streams of people getting together, usually in convention halls, and having them set up whether it's the classic console or an emulator. So that way people can stream, they play live, it's on usually Twitch or sometimes on YouTube. You'll find the videos on YouTube, but it's an amazing thing to see. The gaming community come together, help those in need with the charity, as well as I get to see some of my favorite video games get broken and bested by people who know the ins and outs of this game. Hell, there's even a whole series on the IGN YouTube channel called Devs React to Speedruns, in which they have devs, as the name says, developers of the game, react to people's speedruns. And it's very interesting to see their reactions to people kind of breaking their game, more or less, and realizing, oh wow, I thought we fixed that bug, but I guess we never did. It's a wonderful thing to see. And lastly, if you yourself wanted to get into speedrunning, there's plenty of games to do so. If you're ever interested and you don't just want to watch, look up some videos of your favorite game with the added tagline of speedrun. Go look at the Reddits, at the leaderboards of everything, and find ways in which the people do it. A game that I would personally love to speedrun, and have slowly been practicing, Ultra Kill by New Blood Interactive. It's a wild game, and I love it, but its speedrunning is hard. It's a very fast-paced game that you need to be accurate. Well, I hope you're able to learn a little bit about speedrunning from my video. It's an interesting thing. It's crazy to see the level that people play games at, because you have to know so much. You have to practice so much, plan routes, certain techniques, whether or not you should use a technique in this specific situation or versus another situation. It's insane. It's incredible at the same time. And modern usage of speedrun has been great for charity work. It's amazing what people have done and what people have accomplished through the model of using speedrunning, and more specifically, streaming it. Well, I hope you've learned stuff from this. Thank you very much. Everyone have a good rest of your day or night.